The camera frame jolted for a beat. Not the harmless kind. The kind that means the right second is missing. Alex's mother's office door was shut tight. The lights weren't fully on. Only the screen threw a cold blue glow. Lan stood behind her, afraid to step closer, afraid to breathe too loud. On the screen, the route Alex usually took home slowed down. The familiar bend, the familiar street light. A black car sat crooked on the shoulder. It didn't drive alongside him, it didn't pass. It just stayed there, like it already knew when he would come. Alex's mother rewound it, then rewound it again. Same car, same time. The license plate was partially blocked. Not enough to call it proof, but enough to call it deliberate. Lon swallowed hard. Maybe it's just a local car. Alex's mother didn't argue. She only watched longer. Watched how the car kept the exact distance. Watched the kind of right that makes your skin go cold. She switched cameras. The company parking lot. The new frame opened like a quiet slap. That black car had been here before, parked in a tucked-away corner, tight to the line, like it knew the spot. Alex's mother didn't ask why. She only glanced at Lan. Lan blinked once, and in that moment, she hit pause. In the corner of the frame, where the black car was parked, was the same area where Mai usually parked. Lan felt her heartbeat drop for a second. "It's not enough, ma'am. We can't. We can't." Alex's mother stood. Her voice went lower. Not loud, not sharp, yet it locked Lan in place. "Lan," she said slowly, "tell me, why does Mai's name fit this picture?" Lan didn't answer right away, because the question wasn't just about a car. It was about every silence in the company lately. Alex's mother didn't rush her. She sat back down and opened another folder. Logs of cars entering and leaving. Dry lines of data that, if you matched them right, became a blade. Lan stared at the screen, trying to sound normal. "My park's there because it's near the elevator, and that camera angle has a blind spot." Alex's mother gave a faint nod. "So someone chose the blind spot." Lan flinched, like she'd just spoken for someone she shouldn't. Alex's mother zoomed in on another frame. You still couldn't read the plate, but you could see a small patch on the rear corner window, a tiny detail familiar in a way that's hard to explain. Lan's throat went dry. She'd seen that patch in the parking lot before. Not often, but enough. Alex's mother asked like she was asking about weather. "Do we have internal company vehicles?" Lan answered quickly. "Yes. Cars for documents. Cars for contracts. But they're scheduled." Alex's mother didn't look at Lan. She looked at the frame. "Scheduled," she repeated. "Which means there's a list." Lan nodded, then felt it. A list can be edited, and the people who can edit it are not just anyone. Alex's mother clicked to another segment. In the lot, the black car appeared again. Not for long, just to enter, then leave. Lan blurted out before she could stop herself. Like it was checking. Alex's mother turned. "Checking what?" Lan bit her lip. Checking if the cameras worked, checking who was watching, checking whether the plan was still clean. Lan didn't dare say all of it. She softened it. Checking the situation. Alex's mother leaned back. She didn't say conspiracy, but her silence made the word form on its own. Lan tried to pull the conversation to safer ground. "Ma'am, what do you want me to do?" Alex's mother answered immediately. "Remember," she said, "since Alex's accident, has anyone changed how they act?" Lon thought of the sudden calls, the messages that said, "Say less," the repeated line, "Wait until he's stable." Lon let out a breath. There's pressure about contracts. Someone is impatient about approval rights. Alex's mother asked a question that chilled Lan's spine. "Who is impatient?" Lan went quiet, not because she didn't know, because if she said it, she'd stand between two sides, and this company never forgave people who stood in the middle. Alex's mother watched Lon without pushing. She only gave one rule. "You can be afraid," she said, "but you can't be blind." Lon nodded, looked back down, and then she saw it. A small line in the log, a gate confirmation. The same window when the black car appeared. The name listed under manual approval was Mai. Lon felt the blood drain from her face, because if that was true, the car wasn't just near Mai's spot by chance. It moved through a gate Mai could explain. Alex's mother didn't need to see the line. She only had to read Lan's expression. "What is it?" she asked. Lan swallowed, her voice rough. "Mai's name is on the gate approval log." The air in the room thickened. Alex's mother didn't change her expression, but Lon saw her hand tighten once. "Gate approval," she repeated. "What does that mean?" Lon tried to explain like it was just procedure. Sometimes the system flags an error. The person on duty confirms manually or grants temporary access. Alex's mother asked evenly. Did Alex give Mai that authority? Lon froze, because yes turned suspicion into a stamp, and no meant someone had gone around Alex. Lon chose the least dangerous answer. "I don't know." Alex's mother stood again. She stepped closer to the screen. She zoomed in, patient, as if peeling layers of paper. In a frame blown out by headlights, the black car moved past the gate. It didn't stop, but it was enough to see the driver's silhouette turn, like it was looking at the camera. Lon shivered, because that feeling was familiar, the feeling of someone knowing they're being watched. Alex's mother turned away. She looked at Lon, her voice calm and steady. "From today," she said, "you watch Mai carefully." Lon nodded, but her eyes were panicked. "Should we tell Mai?" Alex's mother shook her head. "No." But if Mai knows she suspected, Lon began, then stopped. She knew the rest. Alex's mother finished it. "She'll erase traces." Lan felt her throat close. "Ma'am, I'm afraid we're accusing the wrong person." Alex's mother looked at her, not harsh. "I'm afraid too," she said, "but I'm more afraid of something else." "What?" Alex's mother answered slowly, like driving a nail into the wall. "If that car has been in the company lot, then the person who put Alex in that accident has been standing close to us for a long time, and they only needed one moment with our backs turned." The next morning, Lon entered the company with the feeling that everything was normal in the most dangerous way. The guard greeted her as usual. The elevator ran as usual, but people's eyes slid over Lon, then away. Lan walked straight to Alex's area. His office door was closed. The room inside was dark. A coffee cup sat where Alex always left one, like a habit refusing to die. Mai stood at the assistant desk, shirt neat, hair tidy, face composed. She held a folder. Her other hand rested near a glass of water, a faint smile, polite, correct. "Miss Lan," Mai said, "I reprinted the files that need signing." Lan looked at the folder, then into Mai's eyes. The strange thing was, Mai didn't ask how Alex was, didn't ask what the doctor said, didn't ask if he'd live. Mai only spoke about paperwork. Lan answered, "Leave it." Mai placed the folder on Alex's desk, then moved to the coffee machine like it was any other day. Lan heard the machine hum, smelled coffee rising, and felt cold. "You're making it for him?" Lan asked. Mai didn't turn right away. "Habit," she said. "He usually drinks it around this time." Lan wanted to ask more, but the door opened. Alex's mother stepped in. No warning, no small talk. Mai turned. Her smile stayed, but she blinked a fraction faster. "Hello, ma'am," Mai said respectfully. "I'm very sorry about Alex." Alex's mother didn't say, "It's fine." She looked at the coffee, then at Mai. "Where do you park?" she asked. Mai hesitated. "It depends." "Do you sometimes park near the blind spot?" Alex's mother asked. Mai pressed her lips together. "When it's full?" Lan's heart pounded, not from the question, but from the way it was asked. Calm as directions, sharp as a noose. Alex's mother took out her phone. She didn't show the video. She only spoke. "There's a black car that's shown up more than once in our company lot," she said. "It parks right where you usually park." Mai drew a slow breath. "What are you trying to say?" Alex's mother replied, "I want the truth," she said. "The night Alex had the accident, did you approve the gate log?" Mai glanced at Lan. A quick look, not pleading, just measuring. Mai looked back at Alex's mother. "I did my assigned duty," she said. "If the system flagged an error, I confirmed it." "Who asked you to?" Alex's mother said. Mai kept her voice even. "There's procedure. I can't repeat everything people ask me to do." Lan heard it clearly. Mai was avoiding. Not, "I don't know. I'm not saying." Alex's mother nodded once, slow. "All right," she said. "Then I'll ask differently." She stepped closer, her voice lowered. "If you're innocent," she said, "will you let me review the gate logs and your vehicle location records?" Mai went quiet. One beat, two. Lan saw the wrong detail Alex's mother meant. Mai didn't refuse immediately, but she didn't agree either. Mai answered at last, softer. "You can review," she said, "but I hope you won't let emotion lead you to a mistake." Alex's mother didn't react. She turned to Lan. "Lan," she said, "from now on, any gate and vehicle data goes only through you and me." Lan nodded. Mai stood still, composed, but her hand tightened on her bag strap. Alex's mother looked at Mai one last time. No accusation, no pardon. "Keep working as usual," she said, "because the person who fears the most is the one who doesn't know they're being watched." By afternoon, the office grew quieter than normal. No one spoke about Mai, but everyone watched, then looked away as if eye contact might be recorded. Mai kept working, APR ovals, transfers, emails written with careful politeness. But in the spaces between tasks, she began to hear the sound of a change. Footsteps stopping behind her, then moving on. Voices dropping when she walked past. Mai sat down and opened her laptop. A folder appeared. File names from recent days. Her cursor hovered over clear history. One click. Just one. And the trail could be cleaner. Mai looked around. No one was staring directly, but that was exactly why. She knew someone was watching. Mai pulled her hand back. She didn't click. She understood something simple she hadn't understood before. If she deleted now, she would look like someone who had something to delete. Mai lowered the laptop lid halfway, breathed slowly. then opened it again and switched to her work screen like nothing had happened. Upstairs, Lon sat with Alex's mother in a meeting room. The camera feed was no longer playing. Only printed logs lay on the table. Lan spoke softly. "My didn't delete." Alex's mother didn't look surprised. "Because she's careful," she said. Lon asked, voice shaky. "If Mai is innocent, what then?" Alex's mother looked at Lan for a long moment. "Then I'll apologize," she said. "But an apology won't protect Alex if I choose the wrong direction now." Lon lowered her head. She thought of Alex, how he trusted people, how he gave Mai responsibility because Mai was always on time, always neat, never a problem. Lan admitted quietly, "I'm afraid. I'm part of this too." Alex's mother answered at once, not letting Lon hide. "You are," she said, "because you got used to silence." Lan's eyes burned, but she didn't cry. Alex's mother slid a sheet toward Lan, a time chart, a sequence of gate confirmations. "Look," she said, "that night there was one manual confirmation later than usual." Lon stared. 1 minute, 2 minutes. 1 minute is enough for a car to pass when the camera is blown out. 1 minute is enough to turn an accident into no one saw. Lan's hands went cold. "What do we do next?" she asked. Alex's mother replied calmly. "We give her one chance," she said. "One chance to expose herself." Lan looked up. "Expose how?" Alex's mother met her eyes. "With false information," she said, "and we watch who reacts." Lan stiffened. "But if Mai is only... If she's only innocent," Alex's mother cut in, "she won't need to hurry. Only someone with a plan is afraid of time." Lan nodded, her stomach heavy. Downstairs, Mai sat at her desk. Her screen glowed. Her face was steady. But one sentence repeated in her mind, "I'm being watched." That night the office thinned out. Lon stayed late on purpose. Mai stayed late too. No one invited the other, but both understood leaving first would look like running. Lan passed Mai's desk. Mai looked up, calm. "Do you need anything else?" Mai asked. Lan shook her head. "Not yet." Mai nodded, then returned to her screen like a person who only worked. Lan walked on, not turning back, but she could hear her own heartbeat. She hated having to act. In a private room, Alex's mother called Lon in. No laptop, only a thin envelope. "Tomorrow," Alex's mother said, "you'll tell Mai. The company will review all gate logs and parking lot camera footage." Lan flinched. "So Mai will react," Alex's mother said. "Yes." Lan asked, voice rough. "And if Mai starts deleting?" Alex's mother's eyes stayed cold, not cruel, just determined. "Then you'll know," she said, "not by what she says, by what she does." Lon held the envelope. "What is this?" "Printed logs," Alex's mother said. "You keep them. Don't let them disappear." Lon nodded, then asked the question she feared most. "If Mai is innocent, will you stop?" Alex's mother paused for one beat, then spoke slowly. "If she's innocent," she said, "I'll stop at the line that protects Alex. But if she isn't, I won't stop at the line of this company." Lan went cold. She left the room, walked past empty desks. The air conditioning sounded like breathing. Mai was still there, screen bright, face calm. Mai looked up as Lon passed. No question, no smile. Just one long look, as if reading the sentence Lon hadn't spoken. Lon kept walking, not turning back. But she knew, from this moment on, every greeting could be a trap. The war hadn't fired a shot, But tomorrow, the name Mai would be spoken out loud, and no one would be able to pretend they didn't hear it.